Welcome to Creative Leadership with Heart, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of creative leadership. I'm your host, Rico Nasol. Join me as we explore the transformative impact of heart-centered leadership in today's creative and design organizations. What's up, all? I hope you had a great weekend. Today, I wanted to touch on 4 quick tips on building trust. Now, these are not rocket science, and they aren't that hard to do, but you would be surprised how many leaders completely miss on these simple things. And we all know in life, it's the simple things that matter most. The simple act of being kind, the simple act of being human. Sounds like a duh moment, right? But then why do toxic environments still exist? If you're in a toxic environment, maybe you can send this quick listen to someone who needs it. Maybe they'll get something good out of it. Hopefully they will. If not, no harm done. Okay, now let's get into the tips. So, number 1, transparency. Tell people what you're thinking when you're thinking it. Nobody likes surprises or feeling ambushed. And if your ideas aren't fully baked, tell them that. This isn't fully baked, but here it is. Or if you don't know, say that. It's okay not knowing the answer. Nobody thinks you know all the answers. And if you think you're supposed to have all the answers, you have it wrong, my friend. Bring the team along with you in being transparent. Always be open and honest. Share everything that you know and let people ask questions. And if your teams are large, like mine have been, send a weekly email or something that comes directly from you. It can be in Slack, it can be whatever way for you to share some of the things that have been going on that week. So important. That one with transparency. Number 2, be vulnerable. These kind of go hand in hand. Don't just share your wins, but share your failures, like real failures, and highlight your mistakes and your shortcomings. Things that make you feel like you're human. People won't think you're this person up on high. You'll be relatable, right? Make it okay to take risks and fail. It shows you care about your team and about pushing everybody forward. If you're afraid to fail, how hard will your team work? If you're afraid to fail, more people are willing to just say what you want to hear instead of take real risks. And if you're struggling with things, share it, and that includes life struggles. So for me, I often struggle with my son, and oftentimes by me being vulnerable and even sharing my story, I've gotten some great perspectives from people. And nothing tells people you trust them, and they can trust you more than being an open book. So important. This one was be vulnerable. So we have 1, transparency, 2, be vulnerable. Number 3, seek to understand. Actively listen, like really, really listen. Don't just stare at somebody. Don't just hear words. Be open and understand what they're really saying. Be present when you're with people. And this goes for not just work. This also goes for home too. It'll make them feel better about sharing more and truly opening up. And don't be high and mighty don't be high and mighty and you have to be able to see things from their vantage point. They may not have all the context that you have. So trying to understand where they're coming from is important. And don't look for people to always understand your perspective. Often people need someone to understand theirs. And just because you're the team lead or you're in charge or whatever, doesn't mean you're right. Oftentimes, you're actually going to be wrong because the people closest to the work have the best perspective. So seeking to understand is important. So we got transparency, be vulnerable, seek to understand, and finally, care. And it seems so simple, but often it's the hardest thing. Just care for people. People know if you care, they also know if you don't care. So get to know everyone as people. Know their name, know their partner's name. If they have pets, if they have kids, be invested in their lives. Know their interests. Do they cook? Do they travel? Do they have hobbies? Whatever. I knew everyone on my team. I knew if they were married or not. I knew if they had kids. I knew things that they were doing. I knew them as people. And that made us better teammates for it. And know their work. Make it a point to comment on their work often, whether it's complimentary or critical. It shows that you care. It shows that you're paying attention. It shows that you actually know the work that they do and the effort that goes into it. And let them know that you value them as people, as teammates, as an essential part of the team. And if you don't show that you care, they'll likely feel like they're a number, and they'll churn. I'm happy to say I've always had one of the lowest churn rates in any company I went to, less than 3%, and my team was still high performing. And that's not a humble brag or anything like that, but it shows you that if you invest in your team, you show them you care, you're vulnerable, you're transparent, and you seek to understand, you can help them grow and develop their skills, and you can have a high-performing, low-churn team. And that included voluntary and involuntary. So these are just a few of the ways to build trust. And it can manifest in so many other ways. But if you start here, there is a great chance you and your team will go much, much farther than they have before. All right, all. Have a good week. See you next time. Thank you for checking out Creative Leadership with Heart. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the episode. We have a lot more content coming out. So if you do subscribe, you'll get notified when we have new episodes. All right, take it easy. See you in the next one.